Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, just a little bit of background. I met Breanna just 2 weeks ago, not in person, but virtually. She was one of the panelists. She was a speaker at the Smart and Sexy, Redefining Sexy. And that was my first time doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little bit of background on that. One of the speakers, Danielle Baskin,
Mm-hmm.
that's my cousin. So I always support her, right?
Mm-hmm. Which one was she? What did she?
She was doing the fashion dressing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
How to dress for the camera. I don't know what the title was.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I was like, what time you gonna be on?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, such and such time. But you should watch the whole thing because it's really gonna be some good speakers. I was like, okay.
Sure.
So I watched it from the beginning. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you came on, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But when you came on, your message is aligned with what I do. So I was in tune to it, and I was like, wow, I'm going to try to connect with this person. I'm going to take a leap of faith and just try to connect. So, like I said, that's what I did. But it was an amazing event. And how did you hear about that event?
Actually, one of the other speakers.
Regina? Because I know you told me you interviewed her when we spoke last, but...
Yeah, I've known Regina for a while, so she and she knows that I speak. So they were looking for a financial speaker, so she recommended me, and there I was.
Yes, and you were very well spoken, and you covered everything, which is why I asked for you to speak today. Because in my book, I only do a monthly spending plan.
Mm-hmm.
I do the basic, but what you do is so vast, and it was so impressive, okay?
Well, thank you.
So I was like, I need my clients to hear from her. I need them to know so much more than just how to save to buy a house.
Right.
Because that's a great start, but what you're going to talk about today is legacy and education and legacy, which are two things that I'm big on.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, so let's just tell them. Can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
So as she mentioned, my name is Breanna Colón, and I am very passionate about the area of personal finance. I started out as an accounting major, and that I thought that was going to be my career plan for life. Not. You know, we all go through that finding yourself stage where you're trying to figure out where exactly do I want to land in your career. But ultimately, I ended up on the financial side, and I've absolutely loved it. I didn't grow up learning about money. I hear that often, especially culturally.
Right.
I hear that, quite often. But in fact, in college, I had not one, not three, not five, but 7 credit cards.
Oh,
in college. Yeah. I had 7. Mm-hmm. That was me. And I was a musician at the time, playing for a church, so I was making my own money. So, I thought I was doing something, I can handle it. My parents didn't know anything about it. And next thing you know, I had maxed out all of these credit cards. And I was buying stuff for my now husband, who almost didn't marry me because of the amount of debt that I had. Yeah, when we started talking about getting married, and we, looked at, hey, let's put the finances together. He's looking at it like, I don't know about this. Real talk. So ultimately, he gave me a chance. Thank the Lord, and we're still together 27 years later.
yes.
So,
Thank the Lord.
but anyway, so we did, ultimately get out of that situation, over time. But yeah, it's just an area that I've really been passionate about. And it's an area that, especially in the African American community, is lacking on the financial education piece. And so the more that we can educate ourselves and get, it will allow us to be empowered to make better financial decisions.
Well, I would like to say that I was on your website and I saw that you do some singing. for your
Are
hobby.
you all on that page?
Acting and
I
singing.
was not on the business website.
Yes. Well, I saw on your YouTube channel that you were doing some acting, but when I went on your webpage, I saw that that's something that you do. So, yeah.
Oh, that's right. It does say it in my bio. I forgot.
It says that.
Yeah, I'm a worship leader at my church. So, yes. Yeah, I do some singing.
Well, we're not going to ask you to sing, though, but. But like you said, it is a journey finding, what you want to do. But when we spoke on the phone, you mentioned that you did work in mortgage lending for about 10 years.
I did.
So how did you like that, and what made you leave that path and start the financial path instead?
So I was actually doing mortgage full-time and selling life insurance part-time. And with the mortgage piece, I loved it because I wanted people to have a trusted source in the industry, especially our people. Wanted everybody, but I know that that's an area that, we struggle in. And so a lot of times I know that people tend to be intimidated by the mortgage documents because it's like, a book.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to take the intimidation out and have people have a trusted resource that's going to help them to really understand what they're signing up for, why they're signing up for it, to make sure they're making a good decision. So that was actually birthed out of a bad first-time mortgage experience for me. Mm-mm. And so my experience was not the best. And I remember saying well before I became a loan officer, if I ever become a loan officer, I'm going to know how to treat my clients. Little did I know at that time that I would actually become one. So anyway, but during that time, that window of time, it was really great because I was working for a mortgage brokerage. So that means that we have access to multiple lenders. So that allowed us to be able to help a lot more people than if you just go to a common big bank where you're limited to what they have to offer. And so we were able to help a lot of people with whether that was refinancing or VA or FHA or conventional, whatever type of loan they were trying to pursue. Now, what made the transition was after the turn of the mortgage crisis, the housing crisis in 2008. Things started changing in the mortgage industry, and it became harder to get loans closed. And I am a very detail-oriented, analytical person. So if I'm doing their loan and the underwriter says, hey, you're approved and we need A through G, they're going to get it labeled A through G. Here is everything that you asked for. Go ahead and approve my loan to clear to close. Right. And so that was working for a long time. But after the mortgage crisis, then everybody kind of started looking for people to blame. The underwriters were getting really, really being extra about approving things, and so they were looking for reasons almost not to approve it. So I would submit things, based on the way they asked for it, and they come back with new things that weren't on the list the first time. So it just became really difficult. It started taking the fun out of it because, at the end of the day, clients are looking at you, meaning me. They don't want to hear about, the title company this or the underwriter that. You told me I was going to be able to close on Friday. Right. That's all they're concerned about. And so it just really became very stressful. And so that really was kind of the turning point for me to say, you know what, I already wanted to pursue stuff with the financial piece anyway. And so that started picking up. And so I decided to take that leap of faith and leave the mortgage industry altogether and pursue the financial side full time, and been doing it ever since. 10 years this year, as a matter of fact.
So that was 2013 when you left.
Yes.
Oh, was that when George Bush was in office?
What a great question.